What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Wait, What Are We Talking About podcast, episode 175. My name is Bret, aka Enigma9011, and you can catch the podcast live if you go to twitch.tv/Enigma9011. Drop a follow over there. You get a notification whenever we go live with the streams, with the podcast, whatever it is, and you join in live for all the chaos and the conversation. But if you can't catch it live, that is a-okay. Go over to YouTube and podcast services the very next week where it's broken out topic by topic and put as one big video and MP3 for your amusement on the following Friday. Last but not least, any way you can support the show, comments, reviews, shares, whatever it is. It may seem small, but it helps this channel grow. So if you have the time, we'd appreciate you for it if you could do that stuff. So what's going on today in the podcast world? Well, we've got a few big topics to talk about. We're going to be talking about the PlayStation Showcase that just aired last week as of recording. And we're going to be talking about Night of Champions, which happened yesterday. So yeah, let's jump into our first topic. Let's talk about the PlayStation Showcase for 2023, something we've been waiting quite a while for. We've gotten State of Plays, which granted are nice, but the Showcase, a little bit bigger in scale and what they're showing typically focuses on a lot of first-party stuff. So I guess the State of Plays do too. You expect a lot of reveals because it's what would happen at typically like an E3 back in the day or Summer Games Fest if studios were involved with that. So you're expecting a little bit more from the showcase. And not to spoil anything, but from the internet's reception, now granted this is the internet, so everything's a garbage can on fire over there. This kind of was a mid to lower not good showcase. I personally thought it was okay. There were highs for me. The lows did not seem as low as other points where it's just like, yeah, this isn't something for me, where it felt like it dragged on or anything. I thought the flow overall was great. I thought the titles that were shown, whether it was first party or third party, they were interesting ones, and they all had time to present themselves for the most part and show what their game was about and make it an understandable point of what's going on in the game. I thought overall it was a good show. Not understanding a lot of the negativity. It's kind of like one of those things where it's always about who's not there compared to who is there. We got a lot of good stuff. The titles look great, even if they're not titles that I'm specifically interested in. I think they look good. They look like they have a lot of effort put behind them, whether they're AAA or indie, and those audiences will get something out of it. I do also understand the criticisms of like there wasn't a lot of first party or PlayStation Studios stuff shown here. Like Factions mode from Naughty Dog wasn't shown. I thought maybe that would be Games Fest, but then Naughty Dog has recently, I guess, tweeted out like, hey, we might need more time, which, you know, is fine. We don't know what's going on with Sucker Punch, if they're making Ghost of Tsushima 2. We don't know what's going on with Sony Bend. Like, studios like this, we hadn't heard anything about. And I feel like a lot of people are down on that, which I guess I understand. But also, I feel like these announcements, regardless if it's a showcase, Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, whatever it is, you want to make sure you don't want it to just be like splash title card and then either no date or like 3 years from now, because that does nothing for us. And I feel like if they're not ready, they're not ready. Is it a little unfortunate that we can't see, excuse me, or at least know what they're working on? Sure. But, I mean, okay, the next Elder Scrolls. I have zero interest in the next Elder Scrolls because, one, it's taken a while, which, once again, I guess this is hypocritical of me, but that's fine. Take your time. How long ago did we get that splash screen of Elder Scrolls 6 and we've gotten nothing from it? Like, I'd rather hear nothing than get shown something and it's years and years away. Like, it just doesn't, I don't know. For me, that doesn't make sense. Or like do anything for me. It's like, it's nice it's being worked on. It's nice that you're acknowledging it, but I don't know. I don't know. It's not a great thing. So anyways, enough of the bitching. Let's talk about what was shown here at the showcase, break it down. I have everything written down. I'll go through everything. I don't know if I'm going to give everything necessarily time to explain it or anything like that. If you didn't watch the showcase and you're interested in games, obviously go check it out yourself. It's about an hour 10, so you can see more for yourself and make your decisions. But I'll go into, obviously, a little bit more in depth with some stuff that I am interested for. But yeah, I have everything written down in terms of dates, and information I did get, so we'll go through that. All right, let's dive into it. So from their first announcement, we got Haven Studios' new game called Fair Games. It seems like it is a three-player team competitive heist game, potentially 15 players in a match. I might have just picked that up from the trailer, I'm not sure. Seems like an interesting concept. You know, the competitive multiplayer genre obviously has been very good. That's a weird thing to say, but obviously people like multiplayer games, people like team games, so having a 3v3v3, whatever it is, and kind of making it objective based seems like a fun concept. This was a CG trailer, so it's still early on. We did get no date from this, but Haven showed off what they are working on. We got to look at Helldivers 2 from Arrowhead, coming in 2023. Funny trailer, kind of about like, oh, we need these military guys, because if not, then your family is screwed. And they took a little bit of a comical approach of just like, oh, guy bouncing around enjoying his day, and then unfortunately his family gets swarmed by a giant bug thing. But I personally have no history with Helldivers. I know it was a PlayStation franchise a while ago. Obviously they have reworked it or remade it with the first one, which I'm not sure when that came out, but continuing the franchise, going with Helldivers 2. Excited that it's coming out. Hopefully, you know, good stuff to follow from it, and it plays well, but we'll see. Next one we got from there was Immortals of Avenum, I think it's called, and we got the gameplay trailer. I believe we got the tease for this probably at Game Awards, I want to say. Apparently this game is dropping pretty soon. It's coming out July 20th from Ascendant Studios. It is a first-person hocus pocus magic shooter. And what I mean by that is it's kind of like how you cast your spells in a Skyrim, where your hand's just out there. He's got some kind of gauntlet wrist guard that allows him to do these spells, but it's a lot of projectile-based shooting out stuff to take out the enemies. Has similar vibes or looks to a Dragon Age, as it is also in work with EA, so I don't know if stylistically that's, you know, why it looks that way. It seems interesting. We saw a lot of gameplay from this look here. I think it's one of those things where it was too much gameplay and not enough of like story around it. I don't know what motivation there is, what's the problem, anything like that. So to me, while it looked cool, it just didn't pull me in with that appeal of like a tenseness in the situation, what's the suspense or the story, anything like that. So I'm going to keep my eye on it, especially because it is coming out 2 months from now, loosely. I don't know, see more about it, see what's going on, because yeah, it just seemed like it was the teaser, and now it's this gameplay reveal, which granted, that's how it should be, but I don't remember anything from that initial reveal of like a story beat or anything like that. So it's just a little bit of a disconnect there. That may be why I'm a little tentative, hesitant on diving into it fully. Next two titles definitely caught my interest in terms of look and feel, but I'm not sure from a difficulty point of view how these will play out for myself. So first one we had was Ghost Runner 2 from 505 Studios, also coming later this year. Yeah, I had no idea anything. I haven't seen anything from Ghost Runner. I do recall seeing it probably in the PlayStation Store from time to time on sale. But this seems like a future kind of techie ninja fighting game. Not fighting game, but like sword play game. Some kind of RPG. I don't know. Seems first person. Allegedly, the first Ghost Runner is pretty difficult, so that could kind of hold me back. But a very cool trailer, cool reveal. Looking forward to checking out more of it, and potentially checking out the first to see if maybe I should dive further into the series and into 2. Next reveal was Phantom Blade Zero from S Game. No date on this one yet, but this one really got a decent amount of time in their reveal. It's kind of like a mix of they got a lot of inspiration rather from Sekiro and Dark Souls. You get the weird enemies, you get the parry mechanic fighting darkness like aspects there. This trailer was really, really cool. Now, I'm a little concerned because they threw the 0 on there. Like, I was like, ah, shit, is this a sequel to something, a prequel to something? I don't know. That could have just been, I don't know how the studio names things. Like, sometimes Japanese studios will just throw numbers in there for some reason. And you're like, okay. So I have to do a little bit more of research on that one. But it looked cool. The combat looked great. It was very cinematic in terms of like movement, combinations, flow. But it was like 95% gameplay shown, in-game stuff, which in their demonstration of it and the trailer, obviously you want it to look its best that it can be. My only concern is like, how does it feel from Joe Schmo playing it? Like, am I going to be able to pull off all of these things that I am seeing? Because it seemed like a lot of rapid blocking or movement and flow from enemy to enemy. Was that just done because obviously someone's been playing this for a while, game tester, whatever the process is for game trailers? Like, is it just somebody who really knows the game that can do it well, that like this is something we might be able to do after some time and it's going to be easy to pick up? Or is it not going to look anything like it, where it's a more slower, robust pace just because of how the user is and how the gameplay actually is? That's going to be interesting to see. So looks great. Like I said, a lot of inspiration from the Sekiro and Dark Souls stuff, so I'm curious to see how difficult it is. Maybe it just is only inspired look-wise, maybe not difficulty-wise. But they did a great job, like I said, showing gameplay, also introducing what the story is. Seems like you are some kind of Ronin samurai, but you only have a limited amount of time before this curse sets in on you. So looking forward to more. We'll have to see from there. We got a little bit of indie love here, and we got indie love throughout, to be honest, but we got to look at Sword of the Sea. This is from the Journey dev. I'm sorry, I don't remember them off the top of my head, but it's pretty much Journey on a surfboard and snowboard. Another kind of seemingly point-to-point journey. Looks gorgeous, looks beautiful, looks very chill. This will just be an experience like Journey. I played it late, but that was something a lot of people had good things to say about, had high praise for, and rightly so. It was a great, 6-ish hour experience. I don't know how long it was. Nice and chill, had a good kind of story that was told through the gameplay and elements rather than just flat out told you in a narrative sense. Very rewarding. This seems like more of the same. I joked at the first like sand look. I was like, oh, Journey 2? Like that, it just looks visually very similar. So yeah, this one I'll probably dive into once it comes around, but unfortunately no date yet. But if you're looking for a chill, very artistic experience, this is definitely something to keep an eye on in Sword of the Sea. Next one we got is Talos Principle 2. I don't have much to say there, to be honest. I don't know much about the first Talos Principle. Was some whole narrative of like rebuilding society and like what happened if we stayed focused on growth or whatever. A very weird trailer. There was a robot in it. There was a lot of high-tech fancy stuff in it. We saw nature and animals. I don't know. That one I feel I know nothing about. Back to the indies, one that definitely caught my attention. Now, I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right. It's either Neva or Neva, but this is from the Gree developers. Announced for 2024. We got kind of this like cinematic trailer kind of setting up the story. It's this woman, and she has a giant antler deer like wolf and a little small pup, and something seems to be happening where the darkness is spreading. It's kind of corrupting or taking out some of the nature around them. They get in this clash, unfortunately are overwhelmed, and the giant wolf passes, and we see the human and the pup kind of going, recovering from that. Yes, a very sad trailer. So yeah, very short look at it. We didn't see any gameplay or anything like that, but it was just the story setup. Seems interesting. Gree was very, very good. Beautiful, beautiful game in its art style. So interested to see more of this game. I wonder, at least from the trailer, we saw obviously combat mechanics and them fighting off the darkness or trying to. I'm curious to see what or how that will come to play in this title. Gree didn't really have any combat. You were just running around doing platforming, sometimes chase or running away from certain obstacles or certain aspects of the world that were around there. So I'm interested to see how this one plays out, if there is the potential combat, and how that flies. Worst trailer to showcase. Oh boy. And then I was happy, I was excited, I was interested in the Ghost Runner and Phantom Blade. I was really looking forward to the Gree stuff. This was the first game that I probably popped for out loud, oh my god, this is a thing, and it's the silliest one. Cat Quest Pirates of the Caribbean, coming out 2024. I played the first Cat Quest. It's one of those turn your brain off. It's not anything that's gonna break the bank in terms of gameplay or story or anything. But in Cat Quest, you're just a little cat. You're going around and fighting off different monsters, whether they're dragons or little goblin dudes or whatever. And you're just going point to point, trying to save this cat kingdom that is around there. Kind of like a Zelda in terms of dungeons, but you're not going to have any puzzle mechanics or anything like that. But yeah, I was just really surprised that they're still making Cat Quest games. Not that there's that many, but at least from a look at it, through the PlayStation Store or the storefront, wherever you play it, it's it looks almost super cheesy. Oh, this is just something somebody made real quick just to make it, what's the terminology? Not, it's something not shovelware, but not as bad as X fruit or food jumps. It looked like one of those older indies that just was this was a really short experience that wouldn't mean much, and it's $5 or whatever the hell. Diving into it, because I kept seeing it on sale, Cat Quest turned out to be a lot of fun. I haven't tried out Cat Quest 2, but seeing Pirates of the Caribbean here, like I said, seeing they're still making it, good for the team. I popped and was excited for it. I like the new 3D look that they have to the game. Looking forward to checking out that when that drops. Now let's talk about a game that looked very similar to a different game that's not even present in the Sony franchise. We got Foam Stars from Square Enix. Talk about a tease with this trailer. Looked all dark and cinematic and looked really cool, and you're like, oh, what's Square making here? What are we teasing? Something new, something exciting, another Final Fantasy, what's going on? And then all of a sudden the lights turn on, all these colors, it's bright and everything, and we get Foam Stars. Essentially Splatoon with Square Enix stylized characters. Okay. I mean, Splatoon's fun. I, have enjoyed my time playing it here and there. But yeah, I guess Square just wanted a piece of that pie and is hey, we can make that. Why not? So the only different aspect I saw from a Splatoon compared to Foam Stars that was different. So in Splatoon, it's just a matter of painting everything. You paint more of your color on different walls, floors, obstacles around this map, and you try and have the most by the end, right? Foam Stars, same concept, but you're shooting soap or foam, and you can build on top of your own foam. So it like becomes structures and big 3D elements to kind of, I would assume, increase your score. So neat. I don't think I'll dive into it, but whatever. Just was a very like, okay. Next one I'm very excited for. I have been excited for this one since they announced it at Summer Games Fest last year, but Plucky Squire. Yeah, I don't know the exact studio, but I know it's a Devolver joint. But yeah, we actually saw gameplay for it. We got a little bit more in depth with it, seeing the gameplay from the 2D mechanic to the 3D, and going around exploring the storybook as well as essentially the child's room around there. Coming out later this year. Very excited to dive into it and hopefully stream that down the line. I was already sold on it with its first look and its artistic style and how great it looks, and this just like pushed it even more, that excitement higher and higher. So Plucky Squire, looking forward to that. All right, then we kind of got into a chunk which personally didn't speak to me, but I know there's a lot of excitement about a lot of these titles, so I probably won't go in depth with them, but let's break it down. So we got, first one was Teardown, coming out this year as well. Kind of like a Minecraft heist puzzle type game. Everything in the game is destructible, which I think is a very cool concept. You can shoot things, they break down in the blocks, break your vehicles, break walls, structures, whatever it is. And essentially you need to get into a place, gather something, and get out, is from what I understand. Cool concept, looks graphically very cool. But yeah, I don't know much about it. Maybe that'll be something to turn the brain off to. Excuse me, and play. Next one is probably the big reveal after all the rumors and speculation, but Metal Gear Solid Delta, aka Snake Eater 3 Remake, is being developed. We just got a short cinematic reveal trailer showing off Snake after we saw a bunch of animals kind of hunting each other down. I don't know if Konami's been confirmed to be working on this or if it's a different studio, but no date from them. However, we did get a Metal Gear Solid Collection Volume 1, so the first 3 games, I assume in their original iterations, or maybe the PlayStation 3 format, coming later in fall. And with it being Volume 1, I can suspect that you're going to get the other Metal Gear titles as well. I haven't played Metal Gear at all, so I have no skin in the game here, but happy for the people who are excited for it. And that was another reason I thought, like, weird that people were so critical and, like, negative on the showcase. Like, this seems like a big title that people have been like hankering over for, and then to be upset, I don't know, seemed weird. Next one we got was Towers of Aghasba. It seemed like a civilization building and resource gathering game, if that's your thing. There you go. We got one more trailer for Final Fantasy 16 coming out June 22nd, so right around the corner. Just one more kind of trailer to promote the game, try and bump up some sales as we're approaching the release date. More icons shown, more fights there. I have no skin in the game here with Final Fantasy 16, but those of you guys excited for it, hey, good for you. Next one, we got a little spooky. We got Alan Wake 2 and a release date dropping of October 17th from Remedy. Looks beautiful. Looks scary as shit. I don't know much about Alan Wake. I think I've watched Jeff Reg play it a little bit on his stream back in the day. But yeah, I know it's just an author dealing with the things he's written that have somehow come to life and the shadow demons or whatever the fuck. So that's coming out. I know that's been a heavily anticipated title. So cool for you guys to have that fall release. Next was Assassin's Creed Mirage from Ubisoft, October 12th. So a little bit prior. Decent chunk of time here. I don't know if it's just me. This looked very similar to titles of old. And it didn't look like an Odyssey. It didn't look like an Origins graphically. I know gameplay-wise it's kind of going back to the original Assassin's Creed of 1 through Brotherhood, 3, 4, wherever. I know gameplay-wise it'll be going back to the original. But this graphically, nothing like impressed me. Some of the visuals from the town aspect and like seeing things off in the distance, that looked very impressive. But from the character models and the gameplay, it looked like just more Assassin's Creed, which isn't a bad thing if you're into it. But as someone who hasn't played those titles in a little while, and especially bringing back the old style, it just, nothing really sold me there. But you got your release date, October 12th once again, so cool at least to know it's right around the corner. Another indie title, this time from Finji and the Glory Society. We got a very quick tease at Revenant Hill. Apparently there's a blog post with more details about what the story is actually about. I know nothing. It looked like the cat from The Night in the Woods, which I haven't played either, but it is that studio, and something's going on. Next one, we got Anime Central with Grand Blue Fantasy Relink from Psy Games coming out in winter 2023. Some big JRPG. That's all I got. All right, come here, co-host. You got a lot to say.
Hi. It's okay. She's just outside.
Want to say hi to everybody? Ugh. What do you think about Street Fighter 6 story trailer? Do you think it was the right trailer to show a week before release of the game? Do you think it got people hyped to sell more copies? Yeah, I didn't think so either. So yeah, Street Fighter 6 story trailer was next. And it was just showing off the create a character, like, story. Like, everybody gets, you go to Masters, you learn different techniques. And I don't think this was a good trailer, unfortunately, for Street Fighter 6. Especially a week from release. They should release something that's really exciting, enticing. I think to sell anybody who wasn't already sold on Street Fighter 6 that they need to get this game next week. And while I understand what they were trying to do, of like, this is our story mode, this trailer fell flat for me. There was nothing interesting there. These are things we already knew about the game. And I thought we should have done maybe a character reveal here or some kind of more hype trailer than this, where maybe you show all the different roster members, different fights, different supers, whatever it is. Even a tease at maybe DLC, I don't know. This was not a good trailer, I thought, especially in terms of it is out next week and like selling us on it. If you weren't interested, not a good move from Capcom in that way. Next one, we got a quick look at an indie title, Ultros, coming out in 2024. Beautiful game, very trippy looking game. Easiest comparison I can think of is Beatles and the Yellow Submarine, that movie. Just the colors, very 80s, like retro, hyper colors and brightness and stuff. That's what we were about here. So, it seems like a Metroidvania, potentially a roguelike. We'll have to see. Next one, we got another anime game in Tower of Fantasy from Perfect World Games. No date on that. No comment. Another Capcom title, Dragon's Dogma 2. I know it's been a big title for people for a while. Co-host, get your butt over here. Can you tell me about Dragon's Dogma 2? What can you tell us about the franchise?
Well, there's dragons, and then there's dogs, and then it's a number 2. That's all I got.
All right, thanks, co-host. So yeah, Dragon's Dogma 2. Shown from Capcom, no release date on that. Next we got into like a little bit of a VR section. So I misunderstood this one when it was first revealed. I thought it was a sequel to a game that came out, I think, last year, but unfortunately didn't perform super well. I think it was Security Breach. But we got to look at FNAF Help Wanted 2. Not really any gameplay shown. But we were in the elevator. We got the tenseness of it. We got the little jump scare. So this is actually a sequel to the VR1 title where they made FNAF 1 through 3 in VR available. So it seems like they're continuing this. I don't know if it's going to be 4 through 6, whatever it might be. Cool to see. I'm probably never going to play it. I played the first one in VR. If I ever do get a VR2 headset, the eye tracking software is probably going to be used, and that's going to fuck me up. So, you know, glad for people that are into it, like excited for them, but Help Wanted 2, not something for me. We got another trailer showing that they're doing RE4 VR for PlayStation VR 2, and it's in development. Cool trailer to see. We got no information from this. We already knew it was in development. I'm pretty sure they showed that at either a State of Play or something. But yeah, there was that. Arizona Sunshine 2 getting a sequel from Vertigo Games coming out later this year. Pretty funny trailer. A little zombie survival VR title. I remember when the first one came out. Apparently good things. From the gameplay I saw wasn't super interesting, but I think it was early on. But the trailer here was very funny. Might give that a try someday. Next, we got Crossfire Sierra Squad from Smilegate Entertainment. No date on that. Just a military shooter VR title. That's all I got there. We got another look at Synapse with more of a story trailer here from End Dreams. Coming out surprisingly quick in July 4th. This one looks like a VR title that will kick ass. It's a first-person shooter, but you have similar powers to Control, Star Wars with the Force, where you can move certain objects to hit certain things out of the way. The story they're trying to tell here is you are trying to stop someone's... what's the term? Their like thought process that they kind of imported into a PC, whatever, that they're trying to cause some damage to the world. I know there's a lot of specifics there that I'm missing out on. But it's also a rogue-like / light. You die, something happens, you gotta get kicked out of the program, and you have to go back in and try it again. That's a cool concept to me. I do enjoy roguelike lights. Depending, obviously there's a lot of them now. But that seems like an interesting element to me. The VR stuff looks great. So Synapse, I think, looks like a very interesting title for PlayStation VR 2 that we should keep our eyes on. And then we got one more VR thing. We got the reveal that Beat Saber is available now as of the showcase on PlayStation VR 2. I believe if you already owned it on PlayStation VR 1, you do own it on PlayStation VR 2. Just double check that. And also they announced that they have a Queen music pack out. That one's a separate DLC. Fair. Beat Saber's a lot of fun. I want to play more of it. It's just a little bit of hassle to set up the VR1. But looks great. Excited for that. It seems like there's a new follow path mechanic. So like with Beat Saber, if you don't know, it's like your DDR. It's like your Guitar Hero. You take your move wands and you move down like a drum strike and you're slashing through note blocks, which is only 2, but you cut through it, and it seems like some of the notes, they had like this line, this curve that would go into another move that was, or block that was coming up. I'm not sure if that's a new mechanic. I never noticed that in at least the VR1 version of Beat Saber. PC, obviously, that's a whole nother ball game. I'm not sure. But just notice that as a difference. Other than that, looks the same. A little bit prettier, but there's not much you can or want to change in that kind of situation or game. So just excited. Dropped a right now available Shadow Drop game. Okay, then we're leading on to the final little chunk here of the showcase. We got a reveal at Bungie's brand new title after their Destiny ventures in Marathon. Cinematic trailer here. Apparently, thanks to shout out to Mr. Badbit from PS Trophy Room, apparently this is a remake or a callback at least to a very early title that Bungie had made back in the day to kind of combat against Quake, Doom, stuff like that. Marathon first-person shooter, it looks like. futuristic. That's all we know. But we know now what Bungie is working on post Destiny. Speaking of Destiny, we got the announcement for their final kind of expansion pack or DLC or whatever you want to call it in the final shape. They're going to be showing more at the Bungie Showcase later this summer. And Cade is either back from the dead or he's back as a character, wherever we're at. So cool for Destiny fans. Next, we got a cinematic teaser for a game called Concord from Firewalk, coming out in 2024. Very quick trailer, all cinematic, no gameplay, not really even any story beats shown. I'm interested based on its appearance, and I almost freaked out because I thought it was Guardians of the Galaxy at first. It has that 80s vibe, very like that color tone of the white, orange, brownish. I don't know what style that is called, but I think if you know Guardians, you know what I'm talking about. That color scheme, that color palette looked very similar to that. I know Eidos Montreal, they made the other Guardians that came out a few years ago. Great game. But I think Square either dropped the team or merged the team or something. So I was like, oh, is maybe the Guardians licensed with another team? Apparently not. It is whatever this game Concord is. Interested, but we didn't learn anything here. So excited to learn more. We got a Gran Turismo trailer here, in case you didn't know they were making a movie. Project Q was revealed as a handheld remote play device similar to your phone and the Backbone accessory, but this is just going to be your DualSense with a screen in the middle. So essentially just each half of the controller and then put your screen blop in the middle of it. Not gonna lie, looks cool. I like the concept of it. I was debating, if you ever debated getting a Backbone for your phone and playing the games on your phone, whether you're on your couch and you want something else on the TV, or maybe you're outside chilling in the nice weather and you want to play stuff. Having this portable option, interesting idea. We just got the reveal of it, so no dates, no schematics, anything like that. But yeah, something to keep an eye on, I guess. Also, if you're into earbuds, they announced PlayStation earbuds. So there's that. And then the last reveal, which was the bee's knees, was the best thing ever. And a lot of people, suspected this was going to be here. We finally got to see Spider-Man 2 gameplay revealed. And boy, howdy, was it worth the wait. We got to see the establishment of Kraven and see Kraven in the game. We get to see Peter in the symbiote suit being very aggressive in his moveset and how he's using the symbiote throughout the game. We get to see Miles and the comparison between each of their heads-up displays. And we get to see the reveal of Lizard. So you get the cinematic trailer reveal or a little snippet of Kraven kind of being the introduction of the game, I'm assuming. And then we see later on this big chase scene and hunting of the Lizard by Kraven and the two Spider-Men. All gameplay pretty much here, maybe a few snippets a little bit here of cinematic here and there, but just looks phenomenal. Insomniac has crushed it again. Very excited to jump into this story. We don't still have a rock solid date, but it is, as of right now, fall of 2023. It's going to be interesting to see. In the opening trailer, we saw images, at least, of both Spider-Man, Black Cat, Tombstone, Wraith, I think is the character, which is a new one, Taskmaster. I think there was one more that I'm forgetting. Oh, Prowler. So we'll have to see if we're going to see all those characters there, or if that was obviously just something we were shown to kind of get Kraven to New York City. But yeah, I mean, they didn't need to sell me on it, but this just got my excitement through the roof. And even after the showcase, I was like, is that a good showcase, or am I just only really excited for Spider-Man? And obviously, since the time has passed in between, I'd still say the showcase is good, but yeah, definitely I put a lot of favor into the Spider-Man reveal there. It's interesting to see what we're going to do with the story. We see Peter with a symbiote suit here in the initial reveal at Game Awards. We did see Venom present, as Craven kind of narrated over the top. Spoilers for the Spider-Man story, both Spider-Man and Miles. If you don't want to be spoiled, maybe skip a minute or two. Okay, here we go. I'll try to go fast. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with the symbiote. We know the symbiote is entwined with Harry. Harry is sick. We get that tease there, but obviously Peter now has the symbiote. He must have gone and visited Harry. The symbiote clings onto him. Is Harry going to be the Venom that we know or have seen in the game? Is the symbiote going to latch back onto him after being on Spider-Man and getting the abilities or mimicking or whatever? We'll have to see. This whole chase scene, we see they're chasing after Lizard because Dr. Connors, his alter ego, his normal persona, Peter thinks he can help Harry. Okay. Whew. Okay, I think I got through that. I think that was 2 minutes or less. Very interested to see how the story is going to play out with that, and also interested to see what other villains we might see just being revealed. We know from the not prerequisite, but the free comic day, the like comic that was like a precursor to this. We know Miles and Peter are dealing with the Hood. So I don't know if he's going to be part of this game or if that's just going to be something short and contained in that. And yeah, thinking about it, how they revealed this with the Craven reveal the 6 months later and then this chase, I hope where we're picking the game up with these two characters, I hope that's not the first mission. I don't think it will be because of how the initial Spider-Man reveal went with the raft. Like, the raft is a ways in. But that'd be just a weird point to pick up, and Peter already has the symbiote on him. I don't think that's the case. Especially because Peter doesn't even know Harry is where he is in the first game, or even Miles' game, so I think I just talked myself out of that. But they did a good job of flow there, at least. Maybe Craven will come in later in the game. No, because I feel like they got to set up Craven as a threat for like why the Spider-Men are knowing about him, dealing with him. So the game could still open with Craven, and then at some point just pop in. I don't know. We'll have to see. But yeah, that was the PlayStation Showcase this year. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If there were any games that you guys were excited about, let me know in the comment section. We could talk about it again or on stream or whatever it is. But yeah, I thought it was good overall. Like I said, it had a solid flow. It didn't feel like it dragged on at any points, even if there were games that maybe weren't the most exciting to me. It felt like a good show. A lot of good reveals there. Got a mixture of stuff that's either coming out later this year or next year. The no dates, that's where I'm a little hesitant on, just because it is this grand mystery of like, did you reveal something that's way too early in terms of development, that we're not going to see this for a long time, where, I mean, anybody in society, like, short-term memories and, you know, nothing really sticks with you. If something's going to come out 3 years from now, am I even going to remember it when I see it again? Like, oh, this looks cool. Oh, wait, I saw this ages ago. Like, I mean, it's a stupid one, but the Immortals of Avenon one. Like, I remember that being revealed. I don't remember much about it. If they showed anything, told anything, whatever, it took me a second being like, oh yeah, this is a thing. So that's just something it's a weird catch-22. Like, you do it, great, we know what's coming up. You don't do it, we get frustrated. It's weird. So hopefully there's a good balance where it's revealed, but it's not years and years down the line. Obviously, development things can happen. Who knows? But hopefully everything's back on track in terms of flow of studios and whatnot. But yeah, looking forward to games. Games are fun. Moving on to topic 2, let's talk some wrestling, because, it's a big wrestling weekend. Well, if you didn't know, it's a big wrestling weekend. We had Night of Champions as of yesterday from Saudi Arabia, so Blood Money 2023 is in the books. So quickly wanted to go over the matches that happened yesterday, what happened, the ups and downs, and go from there. Do you want to talk about our tribal chief, Moose? That's the main event. You got to hold on there, buddy. Night of Champions overall was a decent show. I wouldn't say anything astronomically amazing. Nothing bad happened. It was a fine show. I will say the crowd, has shown up and shown out once again. We've gotten a very good string of crowds for recent WWE events. Obviously, Mania is always going to be huge. But then these next 3 premium live events, pay-per-views after Mania, all being in foreign markets, that's going to help them just because, well, obviously they don't get the chance to see these superstars in action all that much. So Backlash Puerto Rico, Night of Champions being Saudi Arabia, the next one being Money in the Bank in London. I'm sure that energy is going to continue, but it's just nice from a viewer perspective to have that, and adds another layer to it, as we talked about with the Backlash topic not too long ago. Just adds a layer to it, adds the excitement, and is fun for all. So for Night of Champions, we had 7 matches in total. Every match got their time except for one, which we'll talk about. And like I said, nothing breaking the bank in terms of that was an amazing match or anything like that. Nothing awful in terms of mess ups or things that didn't feel good or anything like that. It was just a fine show in terms of match quality. Good watch. So we kicked off the night with Seth Rollins against AJ Styles for the new World Heavyweight Championship. So this is the one they're establishing for Raw. Trying to get the ball rolling there, as Roman's kind of held on to his belts for, as of yesterday as recording, 1,000 days. So they're like, maybe we should get a title over here. Seth went over AJ here, like a lot of people thought. He's going to be kind of the face here. Obviously, the thing of the draft didn't help, with AJ technically being on SmackDown. Not that he couldn't have jumped ship back to Raw, but the two had a good match. We kind of dealt with a little bit of an injury angle with Seth's knee at one point, but he overcame that injury. Seth picked up the win and the title here, and apparently immediately flew out to go film some more Captain America stuff. So that's a whole nother discussion that I know people are having right now. But happy for Seth. I think he definitely deserves it. Obviously, he's very over and popular with the song and his look and his gimmick. So looking forward to seeing what they do with this World Heavyweight Championship. It seems like they're going to make it a workhorse championship, obviously defend it more than Roman, but I'm interested to see the scale or how crazy they get with defending this thing. I assume they'll go back to every pay-per-view, aka every month, but maybe occasionally we get a TV defense here and there, and seeing maybe a title change on TV, which we've done in the past, but I feel like it's been a while. Just could be interesting, just something to kind of boost interest into the product and be like, oh wow, get back to that anything can happen mentality. In terms of Seth, I guess I'll just touch on it real quick. If he's leaving for movies, I don't think we need to be concerned. Becky went out and did Young Rock for a little while, but was still felt present. Didn't feel like she was out super duper long. With Seth doing this project with Captain America, I feel it's a side role. It's very small. I don't know much about it, but it's the Serpent Society, so I assume he's not a main character. So, one project's not going to kill us. If he's just doing that and then he's around, fine. If he feels like he's going to be out longer, maybe that's how you establish this as a title you need to keep your eyes on. If it's workhorse and we're defending it often, maybe he loses it soon. You could make the argument of oh, why didn't AJ win it then? Not that AJ doesn't deserve it. It's just not what's not the plan right now. AJ's working with OC. He just came back after 4 months. Like, he did very good in this match. Like, he didn't seem like he missed a day physically, but you got to kind of ease him back in, figure out what you're doing with the OC if you have plans for them, because Gallows and Anderson haven't done anything, probably even Mia, since AJ's been out. So we got to reestablish them, get the ball back rolling, and maybe get them some momentum. So I think there's different plans for AJ. But yeah, if Seth lost it to somebody, I don't know who he would lose it to right now. But whoever picks it up, if they're gonna make this a work rate title, then just whoever it is, regardless, face, heel, superstar, that just has to be the focus. Like, okay, defending it, let's go. And like I said, that can make the magic of like anything can happen type thing. So you could be flexible in that scenario. I don't think Seth has to necessarily hold on to this for a long time. Not saying he should lose it immediately, but that's the point of the title. Like, a lot of challenges are going to happen. A lot of fights are going to happen. Potentially, it's going to be a belt that jumps around from time to time. I'm not saying it has to be like a TNT title or TBS if you're looking over onto AEW side of things. Well, not the TBS. That one's kind of stuck where it is. But a TNT where it randomly jumps from person to person, but you could do something like that. Find that happy middle ground is all I'm trying to say. Next, we had Becky versus Trish Stratus. I thought this one was fine. Trish definitely is okay in the ring. I think she does good as the heel persona. They had a lot of time. I felt like this match went super long. Like, I had no interest in the story. I think both talents are great, but I had no interest in the story. So this was the point. I was like, I'm going to make some lunch. And I was surprised it went longer than me preparing food. And for a little while, it just seemed like a long match. Had no interest really in the story going as they were telling it going into the pay-per-view. I get what they were going for, just something with me didn't fully click. However, the ending of this match got me more intrigued in the angle than going into it. So for some reason, the ladies go outside. Trish gets rolled back in. Becky's about to go back in, but from under the ring, Zoe Stark makes an appearance, interferes in the match, hits the Z360 on Becky, rolls her in. Trish hits... it's not the kick chick. What's the springboard thingy? I don't know what it's called. Stratisfaction, maybe? I'm a real wrestling fan. Hits her finish and pins Becky there for the finish. This has me more interested because we are pushing Zoe immediately. And not in terms of like fast tracking or anything, but I think this is the right move with any call up. Granted, I'm showing a little favoritism here because I actually enjoy Zoe's work and she's shown it in the NXT brand. It shows that they have faith in this individual, regardless of who it is. Obviously, it's Zoe now. So they have faith in Zoe to put her in a picture with someone who has been top or a more recognizable person in the women's roster for the general public. And what I mean by that is, like, not everybody watches NXT. So when you do these call-ups, while it's exciting for people who do watch NXT or are in depth with all the stuff, but for a general person, you see them, they come in, they do these squash matches. It's going to take a while to build this person to be someone that they care about. Putting Zoe in a program, I guess immediately with Becky, just like elevates her, but like, oh, this is someone we should have an eye on that she's going against Becky. Like, obviously it could play wrong if the chemistry's not right, something goes wrong, whatever it is. It's a risk, but I think this is the right way. If it works, it will be a check in the box of like, Zoe's a name already, or can be a name already for the general audience of like, oh yeah, Zoe Stark's here. She's a known name. She's a known threat. She's credible. That's the word I'm looking for. She's credible. It's not just going to be like, well, they're there. No offense to Indus Sher. If we're going to talk about other call-ups, that's a team that right now, granted it's only been a week that they've been on TV, that right now no one's going to care about. You came in, you beat up local talent, and yeah, you're big dudes that go raw. You need to do something. Either attack a team that's already established or go about it a different way. The jobber enhancement talent route, I don't feel works. If I'm going to use a personal example, Omos. Omos is still someone for me, that I'm like, I don't really connect and care. Like, he's had decent matches with Seth, with Brock, with some other talents, but like, how many squash matches has he had against enhancement guys? It doesn't do anything. It's just like, yeah, I know the result of this already. How does this build them? How am I supposed to feel this is a threat? I'm not saying you got to throw people into matches with, people and expect 5-star classics and that's the only way they can get over. That's not my intention. I just think this is a better way of going about it, of like, here's established superstar. Here's person we're trying to establish. Put them together, compared to here's someone we're trying to establish. Here's nobody with no credibility. This person doesn't gain anything from this person. This person has a role, and they do their role very well, but this climb is going to be a lot slower compared to credible and who I want to be credible going after each other. This person has the experience. This person already has the respect of the crowd, face, heel, experience, whatever it is. This rise will be faster because of it. So, excited for Zoe. Hopefully she can pull it off. I have faith that she can, but things happen. We'll have to see where this goes from here. Looking forward to that. Next, we had the IC champion Gunther defending against Mustafa Ali. This is a weird one. We had a feeling Gunther was going to retain. He does retain here. Mustafa has been like this roller coaster of emotions of like stop, start, stop. Back and forth momentum building. And they gave him a vignette beforehand showing, him going to Saudi Arabia, being a part of this like religious experience, being a part of this event. And while it was cool to see, I feel this would have been more effective if we had built Mustafa before. He's never gotten a consistent build, it seems. Like, from the 205 Live days, he was there. He did the whole, not superhero gimmick, but little Iron Man look. Built popularity there, built popularity there. Goes off to do Retribution. We all know how Retribution went. Had a lot of potential, and then we got stupid with it with code names and no build, and then we were just there. To then not doing anything for a while. Then he was Positive Ali for a few weeks, which was entertaining. And now we're not doing that character, ? He's a solid talent. I'm glad he got time. I'm glad he got moves in. They built it. The two in the ring built it where there was a little bit of like a build of hope and believability, but Gunther retained. It's now a matter of what are we going to do with Ali after this? He's free agent, so he can show up on any of the 3 brands. Just please invest in him. He can be good, whether it's a good guy or a bad guy. He can do it. We just need to be consistent with giving him something. No one's going to care if we just keep doing the start-stop or don't give him a program. I don't know. That's all. That's all I got to say about that. Then we had the Raw Women's Championship from 2 SmackDown superstars. We had Asuka defeating and winning the championship against Bianca Belair. Kind of a surprise, a little bit. I wanted Asuka to go over at Mania, but they wanted to keep Bianca's Mania streak going. But Asuka wins here, uses the mist via her fingers. Nice little twist on that. Rakes the eyes of Bianca while having the mist on her fingers. Hits 2 decent kicks onto Bianca. Gets the pin, gets the win, gets the championship there. I thought this was a better match than their Mania thing. I've seen some other people saying otherwise. This one was a good match. Happy for Asuka. Get her back elevated as well. Give her some things to do. Nothing against Bianca. I like Bianca as well. Just time for a change. That was all. There's some rumors going around that Bianca and Street Profits might turn heel. I think that's a bad move, regardless. Obviously, dirt sheets are dirt sheets, so take everything with a grain of salt until we actually see it. But interested to see where Bianca goes from here. We have the little tease of Rhea and Bianca potentially at next year's Mania. But we have a long road before that. So, yeah, good for Asuka. Excited to see what's next for Bianca. We'll have to see. What was next from here was the SmackDown Women's Championship with Rhea Ripley going against Natalya. So, back-to-back ladies matches. And to that I went, that's a weird choice. Until the match happened. And I was like, oh, all right. Didn't even matter. Now, Natalya, you've been around for like 10 plus years. Your character has little to none, whatever the phrase is. Character development. You're a good hand and you help. Everybody had this reaction when we saw her come out to try and save Dana Brooke a few weeks ago of like, this is the first thing we're doing after, or the next rivalry we're doing for Rhea. Okay. This match, I shit you not, lasted 69 seconds. Nice. Both of them came out. Natalya did this whole thing with the crowd. She's hugging people, high-fiving people, taking photos, giving the glasses away. Rhea comes out with Dom. Dom's an idiot as always, doing his thing. Rhea takes her out of the ring, smashes her against the stairs, brings her in, riptide, I believe. That was the only things they did. Pins her, wins, retains. See you, bye. I'll take my money, please. Thank you. What was the point? Literally 0 point of this. It didn't do anything. It was a very useless angle. You needed a defense for the pay-per-view, and this was the best you could do, I guess. Okay. Next one, we had Brock Lesnar going against Cody Rhodes. Cody's got a broken arm or a fracture. He's got a cast on. I thought this was going to be a gimmick match. It's not a gimmick match. It's just a rematch between the two. Normal match. Cody smacks the shit out of Brock with his cast 800 times. I've never had a broken bone, knock on wood. But I would assume if you hit somebody with your cast, that's going to hurt you a lot. Apparently doesn't. I get it inflicts damage on Brock. He hits Brock a bunch with the cast, never busts him open. I think that might have been the goal here. Brock eventually hits an F5. Cody kicks out of the F5. We get a Kimura lock. Cody somehow survives the first Kimura lock. Eventually we get a second Kimura lock. Cody Rhodes passes out from it. Brock will win this match. Fine. I get the logic of it. Why would he beat him with a broken arm, hand, fracture, whatever? That's totally fair. I thought the gimmick match would allow for Cody to get over, or at least, win still logically with a broken limb. But we didn't. We went the regular route, so fine. I'm just not excited about this because now we have to do Brock Cody 3 because we need the rudder, whatever it's called, match. And we need somebody to go up 2-1, which hopefully will be Cody here. So then he can go and finish the story at SummerSlam, beat Roman Reigns, and we can move on from this. I get what we were trying to do with this Cody Rhodes, like beat the shit out of him, break him down, and then we get more of like a, hey, moment. If the plan is SummerSlam to swap the belt, I don't think this has done anything for Cody. But that's just me. Well, I don't know. I don't care about. I'm just really not looking forward to another one of these at Money in the Bank. I don't care. And then we got the Undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship match. We got Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn going against Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa. We got Owens and Zayn retaining after some bloodline shenanigans. Match was good. Very happy for Sammy that he was able to obviously make an appearance in Saudi after, not making an appearance after all these years due to bigger issues. Roman and Solo played this perfectly. Solo took a lot of the brunt work. Roman played the heel up perfectly, chanting, talking, doing a lot of heel work, cheating when Solo would distract the referee, etc. Unfortunately, the referee would get knocked out at one point via a spear from Roman. Kevin would go outside, try and set up a table spot on Roman from the announcer tables. Usos would make a grand entrance and appearance from the crowd, not supposed to be at the event at all. Superkick Kevin. Attempt to double superkick Sammy. Sammy ducks. They kick Solo Sikoa instead. Roman rolls in, yells at both of them. What are they doing? What are they doing at the event? Shoves Jimmy away. Jimmy is pissed. Roman looks to Jay, yells at him some more, pushes him away, turns around, eats a super kick from Jimmy. Jimmy is retaliated. Jay asking what is going on. Jimmy says, we're brothers. This is what we're supposed to do. I'm going to do what you were supposed to do a long time ago. Nails Roman with another brutal super kick as Roman's getting up, and the two leave, walking up ramp as Jay still looks conflicted in this whole situation. Zayn and Owens would hit both their finishers on Solo Sikoa, get a pinfall via no referee, 1, 2, 3 of the chance crowd, then a clean 1, 2, 3 after the referee did enter back in, or rather a new referee. And we close there with Roman looking very frustrated as the bloodline continues to crumble in front of his very eyes. Match result made sense to me. It would have been fun to see the internet chaos if Roman and Solo did win, with Roman having 4 belts, but we did not get that. I like what we're doing here. The only thing that made me scratch my head, obviously the last couple of weeks we've been really, and they showed it in the video package, we were really dumping on the Usos from a Roman perspective. And we're really dumping on Jimmy because he's like, what do you mean? Like, just kind of not understanding fully why Roman's pissed. I thought Jay would have been the one to pull the trigger and kick Roman or betray Roman. And to see Jay still so conflicted confuses me a little bit. And the reason it confuses me is circling back to the Royal Rumble. When Sammy eventually stops Roman from hitting Kevin with a chair, and eventually hitting Roman with the chair and turning there, Jimmy is the one yelling at Sammy, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Jimmy is the one to deliver the super kick to Sammy. They do the beatdown, and Jay doesn't join in on the beatdown, walks away, hands covering mouth, like super conflicted, super pulled in both directions, and torn. I thought he would be the one to finally be like, okay, enough is enough, and turn. Jimmy being the one to turn was interesting. I get it from the past couple weeks of Roman passing the blame to them and blaming them for all their losses and like they're bringing things down. I can understand that. It just, leaving that situation after Jimmy delivers the kick and they go up the ramp, Jay wasn't doing exactly what he did at the Rumble in terms of being torn and split between both sides. He still seemed troubled about the whole situation. I feel like he's still going to side with Jimmy and we're going to get, Usos versus Sikoa and Roman. It just, I don't know. I feel like Jay should have had more of a, yes, I understand we're dividing from the bloodline, definitive cut, instead of still having this like struggle inside his head. I don't know. Interesting call, but I think the right one in terms of the titles. So, Night of Champions, I know I said overall, like, nothing breaking the bank, nothing good, nothing bad that, like, stood out. It was a fine thing. Going back through this, at least in terms of my opinion, because this is not, like, everybody obviously has their own thoughts and stuff that they can feel about it. In terms of mine, talking back about it, no, this is a lower one for me. I had a good time watching it. It was nice and chill, but I don't know. It's a lot of like what ifs. First match was fine. Good, check the box. Second match, I'm excited for what comes after. Third match, I'm not excited for what comes after. I'm skeptical of what happens after. Asuka winning, good. SmackDown title, stupid. Brock and Cody, hate what's coming next if they're doing 3. And then just the confusion of the last one. So, in my head, I'm just like, I don't, okay. We'll just have to see. Fine pay-per-view, more just me overthinking and analyzing stuff. We'll have to see where it goes. But yeah. Well, everybody, this has been another episode of the Wait, What Are We Talking About podcast. My name is Bret, aka Enigma9011. Appreciate you guys hanging out today, giving this a watch, giving it a listen. If you guys ever want to catch the podcast live, you can always go over to twitch.tv/Enigma9011. Drop a follow over there. You'll get notified when we go live with the streams or the podcast, so you join in on the fun and the chaos over there and the conversation. But if you can't catch it live, that's A-OK. Go over to YouTube and podcast services the very next week, where it's broken out topic by topic and put as one big video in MP3 for your amusement on the following Friday. Last but not least, any way you can support the show, likes, comments, shares, reviews, whatever it is, may seem small, but it helps the channel grow. So if you take the time to do that, we'd love and appreciate you for it. Appreciate you guys hanging out for today's podcast for both of these topics. If you got any comments afterwards, of course, feel free to put it in the comment section down below and we'll get back to you. But once again, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And we will see you guys on the next one. Take care.